What does one say to an ancient Nephilim ghost?
I suppose you start with...
Show me the money!
Hello, my friend. Stay a while and listen.
What's going on YouTube? It's Filthy and we're back with another Diablo 3 video. Season 30 is coming on the 12th of January at 5 PM CET for me. So we've got the preview blog here, we're going to go through it. Really excited, it's basically in a week's time. We traditionally used to get 2-week warnings for the season start, but it looks like moving forwards with Diablo 3 being in maintenance mode, the time could literally be anything as short as a week. Before we do get going though, as always guys, thumbs up brightens my day. I'm going to be releasing a fastest or best class to play video hopefully in the next couple of days. I'm going to make a couple of starter guides for what I think will probably be the more popular classes. When the patch drops on Tuesday, we might have a little look at some of the builds before the season, but of course the season theme is Soul Shards. It is confirmed here in this blog post, which is great, and obviously we won't be able to test those, but we will be able to go over the updated patch notes. Some of the things have changed from PTR, so let's jump in and take a little look-see. Season 30 is the Lords of Hell. This is basically the Soul Shards returning from Season 25. None of the Soul Shard mechanics have changed from Season 25 or PTR. We wouldn't expect that. You find Hellforger Embers, you upgrade the Soul Shards that you get. They unlock level 1, 2, 3 powers. Level 3 is generally the kind of big money maker move that allows you to make your build function. Some are really good, some are not so good. I have done a full breakdown of those, so I will link that in the video description. And basically it goes through here. I'm not going to read through all these because we have been through them in quite a bit of detail on the channel, but basically these are the legendary gems. You can put one in a weapon, one in a helmet, and it will give you some extra powers, which is going to be fun. We've got some cosmetics here. If you missed whichever season these came, I'm presuming these are recycled. I don't really recognize this. The portrait frame does look familiar. I feel like I've got that one, and I might well have the banner. It's hard to remember, but if they're not new, which I don't think they are, then you've got a chance to get them if you missed them. Season journey rewards is kind of all the usual stuff. Conquests, as we talked about in the starting set video, are all pretty easy to do. It's not going to be much of a problem. The Haedrigs, just a quick recap, we've got the Barbarian gets Raycore, which is a really strong set. Not ideal for speed farming per se, but a very, very strong one. Armor of a Khan is also really strong. Marauder as well, it's a really powerful set for the Demon Hunter. Monk Inner is just an OP starter build, a really strong set there. And then Necro Pestilence I think is a bit crap. Like even with it being buffed, I still don't really like it terribly much. Can play, it's not the end of the world. Zunimasa, clunky, not very good. And then DMO, which is very middling, a bit meh, but is quite easy to put together with kind of like enough damage mods. Basically, there's no, I'd say, really bad starting sets. Maybe you could argue Pestilence is straight trash, so you would want to avoid that. Zunis I probably wouldn't say is much better, but the first four were all pretty strong. Turning to the patch notes, what we have got here is that the Rites of Sanctuary, so this is the altar that's been added permanently, as have the Visions of Enmity. Both of these are coming to season and non-season. Now, I presume the way it's going to work is if you unlock it on season, you'll get it for non-season. So if you're going to make a seasonal character, you may as well get the Visions, the full altar unlocked during that, rather than going and getting unlocked and then making another character. All of the nerfs look like they've come through completely from PTR. This looks all the same to me. So yeah, the altar is going to add some power. It's worthwhile doing, but it's not super OP, adding like 4 or 5 tiers as it was in Season 28. But unlocking it is going to be a lot easier now. Chiltara, like this is... You have to craft a Staff of Herding to fully unlock the altar. It's like the second or third to last node that you need the Staff of Herding for. And you have to find a Gibbering Gemstone as pretty much the hardest piece of the Staff of Herding. The other components are pretty easy to put together. Now this used to have a 5% drop rate, and Chiltara, only spawned in a set dungeon, which only spawned in about half the games. Then she'd only turn up in about half the games. Then you'd have a 5% drop rate. So it did take multiple runs. There was lots of people it took several hours to find a gibbering gemstone. But now with the drop rate of 20%, that's going to be quite good. It also makes potentially going to do the campaign, getting to Act 3, much more beneficial, because you know Chiltara is going to spawn in the campaign if the correct dungeon opens up. And then you've only got to do her on average 5 times for it to drop the gibbering gemstone. This increased drop rate might just negate the need to do the campaign at all, though, because it's basically you're going to find it 4 times faster than you would have done in Season 28, which is kind of good. Also, another little change I wasn't expecting: Whisper of Atonements can now be salvaged for 1 to 3 Forgotten Souls. Really, that seems like a good change to add Forgotten Souls, because you do end up with a lot of Whisper of Atonements if you don't fully augment out lots of different suits. If you do the Echoing Nightmares mode, which we don't need to do per se in Season 30, because we can of course use the Soul Shards when they're at rank 3. If we're not going to use them in a build, they count as a 125 augment. I'd say this should be like 30 Forgotten Souls. If you're going to make somebody go through the entire Echoing Nightmare, 4 or 5 minutes, whatever it is, to get a Whisper of Atonement, I'd say you probably want 10 to 30 Forgotten Souls. But hey ho, it is what it is. Really big change for pushing here. Oryx Dream is now 4% spawn rate rather than 1%. Now my experience is it's way lower than 1% playing the game. Maybe that's just my mind tricking me, but basically what they're saying is you're going to get Oryx Dream 4 times more often than you did in the last patch, which is great. And they've also taken out the gelatinous goblins from the Goblin Shrine Echoing Nightmares, which is where we get all the horrendous lag, and you spawn it and you can get 2 gelatinous come out at the same time. The game just completely locks up and freezes, so that won't be happening anymore. So some really interesting changes there. Big plus up for the gibbering gemstone being easy to find. Big thumbs up for Oryx Dream. That's going to make pushing builds much more fun, because you're going to have more Oryx Dreams. You can have much more scope, I think, to clear 150. In terms of class balance, this is as the PTR, but anything that has changed is highlighted in red. So nothing for the Barbarian. I didn't get a chance to play Leapquake PTR. I am excited to play it on Season. It's got a moderately sizable buff. Raycor has got a moderately sizable nerf, but I still expect Raycor, it still cleared 150 in like 5 or 6 minutes on PTR, so it's still going to be really powerful with the Alter, with the Soul Shards, just kind of bringing it a bit back down, kind of to earth. Crusader did actually get a change. The Roland's Legacy was buffed quite a lot. Again, I didn't do this on PTR, I just played the Fist of Heavens Crusader. But what has changed with Roland's is the Denial Shield. Basically gives us 100 to 125% damage, stacking 5 times between uses, each stack lasting up to 5 seconds. I want to say the sweep attack damage was a little lower on Denial, so that might be a little bit more juice, or it could be a change for convenience with the stacks lasting longer. I haven't played Sweep Seder in like a bazillion years, so I can't remember off the top of my head, but I'm assuming it's something to make Sweep Seder better. I can't see it should be anything to be made worse. Demon Hunter gets an interesting one here. So the Shadow Mantle has got a mega buff, as we knew from PTR, but Marauder, which is the starting set, was nerfed on PTR to something like 6,000% damage. They've increased that up to 9,500, so it is less than what it was, but 9,500. It's not much of a power differential. It's maybe like 20-30% off, which is probably only a couple of tiers, and you'll get more than that with the Altar, with the Soul Shard, so it's still going to be super duper powerful. And with it being the starting set for the Demon Hunter, that's quite good news. Nothing has changed from PTR for Monk, so Raymond, Uliana's, and Kirishio's Blade, they all go through as they were on PTR. And then Necromancer, I really thought they might have given this a bit more juice. It has been buffed as per the PTR, the modifier going from like 3,300% up to 6,000. But what they've added is a bunch of toughness. So it used to be a 50% damage reduction once you get your corpse consumed stacks. It now goes up to 75. I mean, it's a good change. Necro is squishy, Pestilence is squishy, but ultimately it's really, I would have liked a little bit more in terms of the damage, but I guess it does make Pestilence a little better. Inarius got a mega buff, but nothing's changed from PTR. They're trying to nerf the Nova Necro, again, bring that back down to Earth, but it was still really powerful on PTR. In terms of Witch Dot, it looks like the nerf for Spirit Barrage is not as hard as first thought. I think this was lower figure on PTR, so they're taking it down from a 20,000% modifier to 17,500%. So again, that's really de minimis. You're probably not going to feel that too much, especially next season with Soul Shards and the Altar. Wizard came through completely as on PTR, so a big buff for the DMO set, so a nice 20k damage mod up from the 12,500. So again, fairly solid start for Wizard. Talrasha and the Meteor Wizard and Twister have all been kind of looked at and brought back down to Earth, but I thought that was quite interesting that we've got a few of the nerfs being reverted a little bit. So it is going to be a little bit more fun to play some of the builds that did get hit with the nerf hammer. And that's it, that's all she wrote. So we've got 7 days to prepare for the season. Patch presumably coming Tuesday, but we can't really test too much for Season 30 because we won't have access to Soul Shards. But I think overall, you're going to be pretty pleased. I think it's good that the season's coming soon in the next 7 days. I think it's great that the altar is going to be a bit easier to unlock. I think it's great that pushing is going to be a little bit easier. I think all those things are moving us in the right direction in the game. Right, I've been the Filthy Casual. Can't wait for Friday. 1 week to prepare. What class are you going to play Season 30? Let me know in the comments. Take it easy, guys. Peace.